This is a Genshin Impact cookbook. Couldn't wait for this day to come. It finally came in. Now, floating around the YouTube sphere and the Genshin sphere, there are some cooking YouTubers who do stuff, and it looks pretty easy from there. Well, I'm just going to figure out and show you guys how difficult it actually is to make some of this stuff. This is Cuff with this stuff. Now, it's a pretty nice cookbook. I won't show you all of it, because some of it is literally impossible, and I don't do a lot of cooking. So, oh well, guess better start now than ever. But there is a couple recipes that have caught my eyes. First and foremost, this Rockin' Riffin' Chicken. This looks pretty interesting. Might give it a try sometimes. Might make this a series out of it. But what I really want to try and do is give that one. I'll give a try later on. Give that one. Let's try this one a go. Notorious Meal version 9. Wow, 593. The sucrose specialty. So you can see it looks like an utter abomination, but certainly can't be that bad. And it's a level 1 out of a level 1 through 3 scale. So hopefully for a newbie cook like me, get trying, work something out. Also, shout out to the author of this place. Excuse my French. My French is not very good. Taboo Villanova, I guess is my best guess for it. Anyway, this guy right here. Well done. Well done. I appreciate you for making a Genshin Impact cookbook. And yeah, let's give it a go. Got a crap ton of ingredients over here set up on the table. I'm going to show you how painfully difficult this is. Maybe you'll get some tips for it. Well, without further ado, let's get this new series going. Let's put this Booba apron on, and let's get to cooking. Now, in Genshin Impact, this is pretty simple to make. All I need to do is have, what was that, crab roe, ham, sour cream, and cabbage, and boom, you got Sucrose's specialty. Well, granted, you have sucrose, and every 1 in 10 chance she decides to wake up, smell the coffee, and actually make her specialty. But no, it's a lot more complicated than that. Alrighty, here's the ingredients that you need for the Nutritious Meal version 593. Now, a little disclaimer before you start. The locations and ingredients of what you may get varies by your location. Like, for example, here in ye old rural Indiana, United States, we have this place called Walsuck, where you spend money, live worse, and that's maybe all you have. Or even worse, if you live in even more rural parts of the country, you might have Dollar General, and that would be all you have. But thankfully and luckily, I made the short trip down to the city of Indianapolis, where the land of always under construction, and get the following ingredients. If I continue to make this a series, make that disclaimer. This is what ingredients I get here in rural Indiana. So, here we go. First, you'll need the following ingredients. Butter, or vegetable oil, whatever fits your fancy. Onion, it says a large onion, but that's a medium onion, so hopefully that'll suffice. Cauliflower. No, not cauli. Cauliflower. Broccoli. It says for 8.8 ounces of ham, but yeah, since the local Walsuck only had that ham for some reason because they were out of the other ham, it's only 7.5 ounces, so that might be a slight effect on the ingredients. Parmesan cheese. Vegetable stock. However, we only had vegetable broth over at Trader Joe's when I was down there today. Yukon Gold potatoes. It specifically just says 1 potato, but these potatoes are pretty small, so I might make 2. Black pepper, sea salt, flour, and a butt ton of baby spinach. Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention in the recipe, light cream. Light cream is like impossible to find, but apparently in American terms, light cream means table cream. You'll need some of that. Yeah, your results may vary, ingredients may vary. You can add or subtract dishes if you want to. You have the freedom to cook. And yeah, this should make it roughly around 4 servings. It says it roughly takes about 50 minutes to do it, but I'm not too sure on that. If you're a noob, it might take you close to an hour. It might take you more than an hour. It might take you less than an hour. Or if you've done this multiple times, and it's an absolute 4-star chef and you do it for your living, hey, maybe you can cut it down to less than that. So, first things first, the first step you want to do is you want to remove it from the plastic. Well, duh. Next thing, it says, it calls for to cut up the cauliflower and the broccoli into little 1/8 inch or 3 centimeters if you're metric cubed bits. Of course, you gotta take off the leaves and stuff. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. So this is kind of how we're going here at the moment. Once again, I'm a complete and total noob at this, so hope it's going to find a little bit of humor if you're really into cooking. This is what you usually do. But I guess my guess is, yeah, you want to take it like, it's not like these chunks. Chunks like that. That's how you want a cauliflower to go. And that'll go straight into the pan. And we're going to steam it with the broccoli. Cauliflower's been cut up. Now, you do the exact same thing for the broccoli, except it calls for the broccoli to keep the stems. Unlike the cauliflower broccoli, you just throw it away. But yeah, you want to keep these stems and cut them to like 1/8 inch slices, and then you add them into the bin, into the thing. Yeah, hopefully this is making somewhat sense to anyone, because I'm probably a little bit more closer to Raiden Shogun in terms of cooking skills than Sean Ling's. So yeah, this is gonna be a terrible video, ain't it? The upside about broccoli is that at least these are a little bit easier to pull off and break apart compared to the cauliflower, which is gosh darn near impossible. Next on deck, you have to deal with the stove top. So, do not recommend getting a tiny little cutting board. Get as big as a cutting board as you can, or have a bunch of space as you can. Unfortunately, you don't have much space to work with over here. And please, for the love of God, please clean off your area if you're cutting on a glass flat top. Because the worst thing in the world, and I know it's by experience, of burnt food is burnt broccoli. Dear God, that smell is going to stay for like the next week and a half. Next on the to-do list, it calls to steam the cauliflower and broccoli for 10 minutes with a steamer. Well, unfortunately, I'm not pleasant enough to have a steamer, and secondly, mic was kind of blocked off right now. And yeah, I kind of didn't do much thinking ahead of time, and went ahead and put this one in a dish. So we'll go ahead and fill this thing up with water. I would say cover up the whole way up the water, but cover most of it up with water. And then, probably turn your heat on. Make sure you turn on the right burner on, dummy. You want to turn on the wrong one and get burnt cauliflower like crazy. But yeah, probably get that one on. Probably put it on medium-high heat. Put it on 3 o'clock if you have these random whirlpool things. And it says to steam, so to get steam, gotta make sure stuff doesn't escape. Next on the board is to cut up onion, as that thing continues to steam in the background. Your onion, your potatoes. There are 2 potatoes and 1 onion. And make sure you peel off the skin off the onion first, dummy. Don't want to be crazy and do anything like that. Raiden Shogun talking to you. Oh yeah, and make sure you wash potatoes too. That's also very, very important. Doesn't matter how clean potatoes are, you'll need it. And since these are tiny potatoes, they're not large, because for one large potato, we'll do 2 of these little dinky ones. These things are pretty small. Okay, so essentially you want to cut your onion, your potato, and your ham all cut the same way. In the recipe book it says some sort of fancy term that I'm really not sure about. But essentially what it wants to do is to cut it into minuscule cubes. Simple as that. And you just want to cut it like, for example, kind of like little sizes like these, and go ahead and give it a cut again with it. Cross thread it. Cut it as small as you can. Same thing with your potatoes. Oh yeah, when your cabbage, or not cabbage, when your cauliflower and your broccoli start boiling, set the timer for 10 minutes. That's how long it's supposed to be boiling for. Oh yeah, and since I'm already in a hurry and very, very late, you probably want your potatoes to look like cut like that. Smaller than that for sure, but get as small as you can without losing your patience. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, come and swim! Oh, I only wish that was the case. Hey, it's almost around the corner, hockey season is. Well yeah, so now, with that, you want to cut the heat, and probably want to move it to a different burner, so this thing can cool down and not scorch your frickin' what it is you got in the pot, in your pot. Anyway, I lost the patience for it. I've been rambling on for over an hour trying to cook this crap. So yeah, time will vary. I'm definitely a little... Take the time it is to make the recipe and double it. Oh yeah, it's not looking too bad. That's small enough. And for the ham, you probably want to save maybe a couple slices for decoration. The rest of it, good news is, this is already pre-cooked, or pre-cut. So you want these cut up into small pieces, probably like little squares again, and those even smaller, probably the size like that. But yeah, and that will go into your dish, like so. Not so sure how small it is. Very small, but I'm going to try and take a wild guess and say that that's probably about very small right there. I mean, that's like not even the size of a pinky nail, almost, that stuff right there. So yeah, you want to save that and probably save that for your decoration. The rest of it, I'd say you're probably good to cut up. Yeah, probably cut up like chunks like these. A little triangle like these. Doesn't really matter. You're the cook. You're the artist. Do what the heck you wanted to do with it. Have fun with it. And well, hopefully you won't have to make the drive of shame to Taco Bell, which I might have to do, because it's the closest thing to me if this thing completely and utterly fails. But no, I'll try and eat it and enjoy it. Oh, the never-ending journey of side quests and side bowls. Probably want to keep your decoration ham in a separate bowl compared to normal ham. Right now, it's going in that bowl. That's what we got so far. Now what you want to do is grab your biggest frickin' pan possible, because golly, you're going to need it. And you want to take your butter and your oil. Now, unfortunately, this is canola oil. The recipe calls for vegetable oil. However, we don't have any vegetable oil, so canola oil it is. Now, for the butter, it says to call for 2 tablespoons. So, thankfully, with this handy little measuring thing, we can cut 2 tablespoons right in there. That didn't go well with the plan. But yeah, 2 tablespoons. Drop it right in. Put that rest in the refrigerator. Keep it food safe. Glad to see the pizza genius finally up and running. It says to add 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, so that's kind of tough to judge. I don't have a tablespoon right now, so probably about a little drizzle like that in it. But if you have an actual measuring spoon, you know what the heck a tablespoon is. And like that, and you'll turn it on medium heat, so straight down the middle, 6 o'clock, and then watch your butter and your vegetable oil, or in this case, fake vegetable oil, boil on. Well now, butter's a-boiling. So now we'll add this onto your butter. Oh, let's not leave that there because that burner's still hot. You just want to dump it all on in there, like so. Look at that, nice and that. Probably gives them a stir around. That's probably the best thing to do for it. It says to brown it, so probably let it stir for 2 minutes. It says fill pan to the brim with vegetable stock, so you want to add that vegetable stock in and let it simmer for 2 minutes. But first, you want to get this brown first. So let's cook for about 2 minutes, or whenever this thing looks brown to you. It's up to you on that one. Now with that out of the way, while this thing's waiting to cook, this is where your multitasking skills come into play. You want to turn this burner on and get water boiling, so probably put it on full blast, probably be the best idea. Oh yeah, it says to add some salt on it, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. Now here's the part where I don't like about this part. It says you have to make a large bucket of ice into it, and it doesn't call for it in the recipe, but you'll need it eventually for some whatever reason. So yeah, you add a large bucket of ice to it. Thankfully I had this left over from God knows when, so just add that to the pile. Now I'd say it's about a large bucket of ice right there. Okay, here's the part where I say do not try this at home. Once this water comes to rapid boil, you dump all this spinach into this boil it for 15 seconds exactly, and then you have to pour that into your ice water. Why is that the case? I don't freaking know. But it sounds very, very stupid and very, very dangerous. But that's the case. I'd say have another bowl ready, just so you have your spinach ready to go, and use your strainer so you can, well, strain it out and keep the cold spinach later, because you might need that later on. It's my little addition here. Once you pour your hot boiling water, I'd say get your full bag of ice and put it in a strainer. Probably like so. So you don't like melt your mixing bowl and spend $10 for how much a mixing bowl is down the pooper. And then, once it cools down enough, you can put the rest of your ice and what's left of it and your spinach into the cold ice mixing bowl. Like so. Now what you want to do is, once this thing is all drained and all the ice is out of it, or at least the best you can, is where you want to add your 1 cup of light cream and what's left of your vegetable broth, or vegetable stock. I believe it's like 2/3 a cup. And add your 1 1/4 cup of vegetable stock to your mixture right here. And you want to mix it up vigorously. So mix it as about as, use all your elbow grease if you're using a manual thing, or it's easy if you got a hand mixer, or a hand mixer like this. Would have been nice if I had thought ahead of time. Wow, speaking of stupidly vague and stuff, next thing, without me noticing, or rippling over it, you gotta add this stuff, your cauliflower and your broccoli to your mixture right here. And you wanna add it up and cook that up to the pile. Fake notice, I'm not gonna lie, but this is how it is live. It's kinda stressful, that's for sure. Now after all that shenanigans, you wanna pour 3 tablespoons of butter into the saucepan. Let that melt a little bit. Put it on medium heat, of course. Well, this thing's over here cooking some more. And in that saucepan, you're going to carry over your mixture over here and put that in a saucepan. And let it cook a little bit. When the butter melts away, you can cut the heat a little bit. Let it simmer a touch bit. Make sure once you add the mixture that you stir continuously, because your goal is to get this stuff to turn what it looks like in the picture. I can tell you for a fact it's not going to look anything like the picture, because I've done goofs so many times already that this recipe cannot look anywhere near to what it's supposed to be like. But hey, I guess as long as it tastes good, it don't matter to me. It all goes down the same place, doesn't it? Side note number like 560 of this video, it says when this thing gets done, you gotta add your flour to the mixture. How much flour? I'll put in the video's tamp right here. And it says to ladle in this mixture into there. I don't have a mixture, a ladle, so here's this 1 cup for you. Like 1962. Not joking, this thing's probably from 1962. While that's doing its thing, you might want to go ahead because you'll need to bake it in the oven. It says to bake it at 390 degrees, so let that thing preheat. And once it hits 390 degrees, you want to cook this thing for 10-15 minutes. And make sure you're all set and done to grab yourself a large baking dish. It's what you want. Edit. The mixture is being mixed. It's added to the bowl. Now, we can now turn low the heat. Another oopsies that I didn't catch about this section like 50 million minutes ago. It says to add the brim, this thing to the brim with vegetable stock. Where did that? Once again, I must have missed it, so here we go, backtracking a step. Also, this didn't turn out too well. I'm guessing I dumped in the ice water, and some of the ice water might have accidentally mixed it into this thing. It ain't looking too hot. Dear goodness gracious. Once this and this is done, you can now go ahead and pour it into this pan. Now, this is just my advice. The recipe does not call for this. But I'd say, grab you some, if I can find it up here. Grab some non-stick spray. Spray it up. And put it right in your pan so you don't stick it and have burnt stuff on the sides and everywhere. Also, when you thought you were done with all the stovetop stuff and crap, you gotta add 2 cups of Parmesan cheese to this thing on medium heat and let it cook that way. And top it. Make sure on top of your mixture to add some Parmesan cheese to it as well. But that part's definitely optional. I'm gonna go ahead and do it because I'm already head first in the water already with this one. But you gotta make some decorations with little diamonds like this. How? I don't know. After pour the whole thing in to the thing and sprinkle the grated cheese on top of it, this is what about it should look like before it goes in the oven. Now, you want to put this in the oven for 10 to 15 minutes. Go. Now to make your little diamonds or whatever the heck you want to make shape-wise, whatever the heck it's going to be, make it simple. Cheese melts. So it just simply says to add 4 little diamonds or square areas of Parmesan cheese as it jumps and attacks you.
Help! My dinner is attacking me!
Let it go into its own little piles. Let it cook. And that should do it for your crisp little thing. Golly, this thing's jumping all over the place. What the heck is this crap? Yeah. Well, those diamonds turned out fantastically, did they? I should have known when the Parmesan cheese started, instead of melting, we're just going to wake up and choose violence today.
Help! My dinner is
That's
attacking
great.
me!
Hold the beef, because I don't like the violence, bro. We got ham in this town. Also, you got 10 minutes left to do it. You've been cooking for god near an hour and a half already. Hey, you got time to lean, you got time to clean. Look at this crappy mess I made up here. Golly, did Clee cook this thing? I hope not. I don't want to see Clee cook a kitchen. The kitchen might be exploded by the time you return back and this recipe's done.
Boom boom boom. Well, this sucks.
Well, there it is. Yeah, it didn't turn out like I thought it would. I probably use a smaller container for it, but I don't have anything. This is the only thing I got for this. But yeah, you can see kind of in spots where it's kind of taking on its green shape. Kind of right there, right there. But yeah, the rest of it's not looking too hot. Probably should have added more stuff to it. I don't know if this thing's even cooked yet. It probably isn't. Anyway, I might put this in the oven for just a teensy bit more. Let it settle down and warm. Well, yeah, that is nutritious meal number 593. Will it taste good as better than it looks? Well, find out about it a little bit. Oh, it certainly is pretty thick. Oh, you know, it looks a little bit better right in that corner. Doesn't look half bad. case you're wondering, if you watch the hockey and IndyCar vlogs, you know what my face looks like. If this is your first time seeing my face, hello there. Nothing special, I know, right? Alright, let's dig into this little monstrosity. You know what? That's actually not horrendous. It's edible. Pretty bland. I don't know why the first thing comes to my mind. I haven't had it before. I have a feeling this is what it tastes like English mushy peas would taste like. Well, yeah, that's that. Worth 2 hours of pain? Not really. I wish the instructions was a little bit more step-by-step in the cookbook. That's the only one downside I have about this cookbook. Give you a little bit more step-by-step with it. Other than that, it's glad it makes Sucrose's signature dish. Hopefully there'll be a nutritious dish number 594 out there that Sucrose has made. This one, kind of bland. But you know what? You got your spinach, you got your potatoes, you got your hints of meat, you got your vegetable broth. Certainly gotta be very, very nutritious. That's it for me. Have fun. Hopefully this was some sort of excitement. This one's kind of all over the place, more than usual. I like to make this a once in a while type of thing. Don't worry, when hockey season kicks back up, you know it's going to kick back up. Oh yeah, maybe once in a while try and dig into that cookbook and try and make something for you guys. Just out of tips or out of curiosity of what it may look like. That'd be fun. Anyway, have a good one.